It still feels really weird to say hey guys. Let's try it anyway. Okay. Hey guys. Oh wow, that sucked. In this video, we're going to talk about catastrophizing, what it is, why we do it, and how you can take more control so you don't suffer from it. My name's Ariane, I'm a life coach, and if you'd like to work with me, there's a link in the description to my website, arianesamiri.com. Contact me, send me a message, and I will get back to you. Otherwise, try and catch me on social media. Again, links in the description. Okay, so what is catastrophizing? To get a little bit of a better understanding of it, we're just gonna get a better understanding of anxiety. So what is anxiety? Our bodies have ways to communicate with us. Pain is one of those ways. For example, if you were to get a needle and just stick it on your finger, you would feel pain. But obviously there would be a level of pain that you would feel versus if you got a knife and you stabbed it through your hand. Now, one of the main reasons why the pain of the knife that goes through your hand would be so much worse is because that's your body's way of communicating with you that you need to attend to this, otherwise we're going to bleed out and die. So the pain in your hand will no likely get you to go to hospital to seek medical assistance. Another way our body communicate with us is through emotions. I've used the example before of how fear is a benefit to us. Our bodies make us experience fear as a warning to what could be coming up or what is coming up, and that warning makes us act in a way that will protect us. So for example, if a car was coming at you at 90 miles an hour and you knew it was going to hit you, the fear in you will make you act in a way that will make you survive. It might make you jump out of the way and then you won't die. So there are multiple ways that our bodies communicate with us. Anxiety is a mask of a suppressed feeling that's coming from our subconscious. As a survival technique, our survival mind does not carry problems with it. Our minds are wired to only experience complete life experiences. Some of these may not logically seem like they're problems, but that's not how your survival mind perceives it. So the feeling of anxiety is actually our survival mind pushing these problems to the surface so they can be dealt with and resolved. It does this as an effort to try and get rid of them. The way we remove these feelings of anxiety is to dig deep and arrive at a place of resolution by understanding what these problems are and where they come from. What catastrophizing is always looking for the worst case scenario. It's overthinking about what the worst outcome could be. This is something we've actually evolved to be able to do, but the reason we evolved to be able to do it is very different to how we're doing it now. This was something for survival. So for example, back when we were cave people, and let's say you were in a moment and a threat came right in front of you, let's say an animal appeared and that animal could easily and is trying to kill you. What you would do is you would catastrophize in that moment. So you would overthink all of the worst case scenarios, all of the possibilities, so that you had more of a chance for survival. Now, this could be like, all right, well, if the animal comes at me this way, I can go this way and stab him with my knife here. If the animal starts walking around there, I can kind of keep my eye on it and move this way. I can do this. We do this as a way of protecting ourselves. In today's world, the example of catastrophizing happens with things like if you're late to work and you worry about the possibility that your boss is going to be really annoyed. And it could take you down a series of really, really bad thoughts and places you don't want to be, like, oh, if my boss realizes I'm late, he's going to be really annoyed at me. And if he's really annoyed at me, oh, I'm going to be late again. I was late last week and now I'm going to lose my job. If I lose my job, I can't pay my bills. If I can't pay my bills, I'm not going to be able to feed my family or keep the house. My wife is going to leave me. I'm going to be all alone. When we start catastrophizing and our brain goes through these scenarios, it creates like a cinematic image of our thoughts in us through imagination. So we actually picture or imagine these scenarios happening. Now, the thing that really sucks is that our brain can't actually tell the difference between reality and imagination. It treats both of them the same. So what that means is when you're catastrophizing and you're imagining these things through the thoughts that you're having, your brain is creating it so you're actually going through that thing. So you would be experiencing what you would be feeling and all the negativity that comes with it if you were actually going through the worst case scenario. And we tend to do this over and over again without even knowing. So what we're actually doing is we're reliving these scenarios over and over again. This is one of the biggest reasons why people get into a panic frenzy and can, start having panic attacks, because we're experiencing those feelings that come with those scenarios. Now, because we're living those scenarios over and over again, and because those feelings come with it over and over again, my question to you, and a question you should be asking yourself, is how many times a day do you catastrophize and go through those scenarios? For some, 10 times, 20 times, 30, 40, 50, 60 times a day. For some people, this is a daily occurrence. And for others like myself, this was something that I used to do from the moment I woke up and I was aware till the moment I went to sleep. I would catastrophize about anything. It doesn't matter what it was, whether it was really, really small or really, really big. It became my normal. It became my normal reality. Now, when we're doing this, we're literally attacking our own bodies with stress. The world that we've created today has a lot of things that unknowingly make us catastrophize. The reason we evolved to be able to catastrophize is to protect us, but what usually happens in those moments, the way we've evolved, is that those interactions where we were catastrophizing would be over in 30 seconds or 90 seconds or 2 minutes. Now, what we've done is we've created a world where we worry about, oh my God, I've got to pay that bill at the end of the month. Oh my God, I've got to make sure this happens in 5 weeks' time. Something that I'm waiting to get done in 6 months' time. We've created a scenario that we catastrophize continuously for a month, 5 weeks, 6 months, a year. And it could be about a lot of different things. Now, I'm in no way suggesting or saying the world we've created is a bad thing. Not at all. The world we've created literally allows me to be able to do this, to be able to do all this, and for you to be able to see me. It's also massively helped with my family's health. It's saved a lot of family members' lives. It's saved my life. It's allowed me to connect with people. It's allowed me to feel comfortable. I love this world that we've built. But what I have realized is that there are consequences that come with the world that we've built that we've not really been aware of yet. And the more that I've been digging into healing myself, I've recognized that there are these consequences that come with it. Now, we're only in the year 2021. Humans don't know everything yet. We don't know about everything about reality. We're still learning. So this is just one of those things that collectively we're going to be learning. So how do we stop catastrophizing? There are 2 things that I found to be the most helpful to stop catastrophizing. The first is that we need to learn how to stop the pattern of overthinking. We start this by becoming aware of our thoughts. I've actually done a video about becoming more aware of yourself, and I speak about our thoughts in there, and I'll try and link it up there, that thing that slides out, but I don't even know how to do that. So I'll put the link in the description as well. Another really cool way of becoming aware of your thoughts and becoming aware of what you're catastrophizing about is to get a pen and pad and pick a time of day, preferably not the morning or the evening before you are about to go to bed. Let's say that time of day is 7 p.m. as an example. Now at 7 p.m, what we're going to do is we're going to actually write down everything that we were worrying about that day. So as you don't need to write paragraphs or anything, like literally a bullet point if you want. I worried about this, I worried about this. Now, I want you to do this for at least 6 days, 5 to 6 days. I mean, after like 2 or 3 days, you're going to see anyway, but after the 5th or 6th day, I want you to look back through all of them and I want you to see a pattern. Now, if you're a chronic worrier, what really helps is that if you start worrying and you can't stop it before that designated time, what you can actually do is tell yourself, no, I have designated time to worry and that's later. what that will show and what that will do and help with is it will show in that moment you actually do have power of this. It will actually make you stop and it will try and postpone it. Now, it might come back like minutes later or something, but even those little bits of power give you the evidence that you can take control of this. So once we have this list and we've seen a pattern of things that we regularly worry about, I want you to look at them, look at the one thing, pick one thing. I want you to look at it and I want you to label it as a thought. It's a thought. It's not you. You are not your thoughts. It takes you out of that imagination and it doesn't give you the feelings that would come with it if you were to experience that in your reality. I actually taught my son this, and we were at the dinner table eating, and I remember he just dropped his cutlery and I was like, whoa, what's going on? And he was like, oh my God, Daddy, guess what? And I was like, what? And he was like, I was just catastrophizing then and thinking about all of these things that made me scared and worried. And then I realized it was just a thought and I instantly felt better. I remember thinking like, that meant a lot to me. I was like, the fact that my son was able to use his mind to make himself feel better and reduce the anxiety that he has, outstanding. Now, do this list as long as you want. There is no time limit really. I mean, there's going to be some people that will do it a lot longer because some people worry a lot more than others. But one thing I would definitely recommend is to script your thoughts. Scripting has been one of the most helpful things for me. I literally, even in the moments where I would be angry at someone or if I was annoyed at someone, I would write that conversation down. I would literally script it out myself. And what I found that it was doing for me was I was actually going through it again and rereading it. And I was taking bits out and I was like, no, that's not how I feel. This is how I feel. And what it actually does as well, it gets you to a place of really understanding why you're annoyed. Because most of the time we'll be annoyed on the surface and we'll think it's logically about something else, but it's not. There's something else much, much further deeper in, rooted, that's causing us to feel the way we do. So scripting actually really, really allows us to figure that out. And this is actually something really good to build on relationships with. So if you're in a relationship, whether it's your partner or your sibling or your parent or your friend, and you feel like you're not really getting on or you feel like they're bothering you and you're not really sure why, script, write it down, write down your thoughts. Do it over and over again until you're happy. That's how you feel. Now, you don't need to send these letters to anyone. You just keep them yourself. This is just an exercise to get your thoughts out of here so you don't keep going through the imaginations and feeling the feelings. And the second thing that I found to be really, really helpful to stop catastrophizing is that we need to resolve what needs resolving so we don't get those feelings of anxiety from our subconscious anymore. There are circumstances that you went through in the past that created some form of distress without any resolution at that time. Now remember, this is about your survival mind. So you may think, I've not. Like logically, I don't feel like I've been through anything, but that's not how your survival mind perceives things. They don't need to be big things or even logical, and they were traumatic enough to birth these feelings of anxiety. The best way that I've found how to do this is through meditation. Using the actual feeling of the anxiety, we kind of use it like a fishing hook to go back to the moment that distress was created without the resolution and resolve it. Now, personally, I learned how to do this by learning The Completion Process by Teal Swan. I highly recommend this to every single human alive. It has been one of the main things that has completely transformed me from being somewhere that was really, really, really dark and bad to being able to resolve situations, to not only be somewhere better, but recognize patterns that were playing out that no longer play out. I wasn't distracting myself to push it out of the way because that bad feeling was hurting, so I didn't want to experience it. I got to a place where I was able to resolve it, so it no longer comes back. I have been suffering from high anxiety from my entire life, from the earliest memories that I have. Now, a lot of this is because I came from the Iran-Iraq war from the 90s. That did a lot, and a load of other things that created a lot of trauma in my past. And every time I do this process, it reduces the level of anxiety that I feel in my overall state. I think I've done this about over 30 times now. That's 30 different feelings of anxiety I've been able to resolve. There are other ways of helping with the feeling of anxiety as well. Remember, I said it's a mask of a feeling that's coming from your subconscious. Simply being open to invite that feeling up and not pushing it away and inviting it to take over your body and feel it will release a large portion of it. I know what you're thinking. It's too hard. I can't do it. What do you know? You don't feel what I do. And you're right. I don't feel what you do. But what I do know from experience is that by simply choosing to go into it consciously, you have a lot more control of the situation at the time. I remember I was staying at a friend's house, and I was staying in the spare room in the bed, and I just started learning this, so I was getting any opportunity where this anxiety feeling was coming up, I was just doing it. And I remember this one anxious feeling actually woke me up. I got woken up. My anxiety was that bad. And I thought, okay, no, that's fine. Let's go through it. So I sat up in bed and I was just waiting, and I was like, I closed my eyes to let it just take over me. And once it took over me, I remember just like, oh my God. So as it takes over you, what you want to do is you want to figure out, is this anger? Is this sadness? Is this fear? And you work it out. And eventually I quickly in that moment, I recognized it was fear. And this was a big one. And it just instantly took over. And I was like, oh my God, I started feeling the fear. Now I had already learned that fear is actually just a warning. So in the example that I used earlier, when the car's coming at you, the feeling of fear is your body just giving you a warning that something's going to happen. Now, if anxiety is fear, what really, really helps is knowing that what you need to do and what you're doing in that moment is just going through that warning feeling. It's a feeling that's been suppressed. That's a warning about something that's already happened. So even though you're going to feel the warning, you can always remind yourself in that moment that nothing's going to happen, because that's a warning of something that's already happened and gone. You're safe. So I remember this was taking over me, and I remember just looking at the door, just thinking like, my friend's just outside that door, I could go get him. And I wasn't really thinking straight, but I instantly became aware. I became aware of my thoughts. I became aware of my body. I could see myself, what I was going through. My heart was beating, and I was talking to myself. I was like, no, it's okay. Just keep going. You're doing good. Don't worry about it. And then I'd be like, yeah, no, I'm all right. And I'd be like, oh, no, I need to go. And it's like, no, don't worry. You're doing good. Like, it's okay. So I was like, yeah, no, I'm doing all right. At the time, I was only allowing myself to feel any feeling that was coming up for a minute at a time. So I remember that minute was up, and when the minute was up, I was like, all right, I need to stop now. And I felt different. Like instantly I felt different. I was just like, whoa, what? Like I feel lighter. Like what happened? That was a really, really big one, and I felt like I let a lot out. I was able to be aware in the moment, and you will be as well, by simply reminding yourself that you are your consciousness. You're not your mind, you're not your body or your thoughts or your feelings. You are your consciousness. So when you go through that, recognize that you can separate yourself from everything that's happening and observe yourself. That is going to help you to be able to go through those feelings. Thank you so much for watching. Remember, if you'd like to work with me, there's a link in the bio to my website, ariansumuri.com. Come on there. Send me a message and I will get back to you, and we can work together one-on-one. If you like the video, subscribe, because there's going to be loads of videos like this, and like it as well, because that helps. I'd like to thank my sponsors, but I don't have any, so I can't. One day I will do. Not today. I'll see you soon. kids. They do that every night. To be fair, they're so cool around it.